Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those that are calling us from Australia, even because this is the Startup School session number 4. My name is Timon. I'm a go-to-market manager at Google for Startups, and welcome to the next Startup School, Gen AI Media. Today, AI-powered audio from expressive speech to quality control. We're going to talk all about voice and AI-generated voice today with Google Tools. We're going to have a very fine session that will conclude all of those multi-modal aspects and elements of generative AI. We talked about images, we talked about videos. Now it's time for voice. Before we jump in and before I invite to stage our fantastic instructor, Shai, that you know all very well, let's go very quickly through a few of the housekeeping rules and just a short reminder about the structure of this school for those who are joining us for the first time, because yes, every single day we are having new users coming in. So this is week 2. We're already past the halfway, guys. Just a week 3, 3 more sessions with the prototyping to production. Our guest speakers from 11 Labs that will talk about their approach to voice AI, and then on the final mile and about scaling. But we've covered a lot so far. This is week 2, so we are seeing each other next week for 3 sessions. There's going to be an extra one on Wednesday, so not only Tuesday and Thursday, but also Wednesday. The structure of the school, you know it very well. We are meeting, this is live, and this is available to watch on demand. And there are also some labs to perform on Google Skills platform. Speaking of which, you have the codes, you have the instructions to redeem. I know it's maybe not the easiest one, but you've all received it in email. But just in case, I'm repeating those instructions over here. We've seen some emails from you with some questions about those skills. We are replying directly and very fast, and I think everybody got their response so far. But in case you have any troubles, please startupschool-external@google.com. That's our email for this program, and this is where you can find us and we can answer your questions over there. Without further ado, housekeeping rules. As usual, I'm going to drop into the chat, and I love how much engaged you are over there, that you are commenting what you're seeing and you're sharing your experiences. So let's keep this discussion going on the chat. But it's because of the chat structure and how fast the messages change there. If you have a very, very substantial question to Google, to our experts, and maybe also to Shai, please put it down below in this panel that we call Q&A. We try to answer questions over there. Please upvote. Please also engage over there. This is recorded. You can watch this later on today on the very same page that you are here right now. Okay, these are the housekeeping rules that you all know very well, and you are all following them very well, which I'm very glad. As usual, about 60-70 minutes of session, then small commercial break, as I used to call it, and then we're going to have a Q&A at the end with our instructor. And then we'll be done with the new skills and new knowledge about voice AI. Okay, this is a time where I pass the mic and pass the voice to the instructor, Shai Alon, today with us again. You can really say that Shai knows everything about generative AI media because he's doing this for the 4th time in a row. Because that's true. Yes, this is the guy that really knows this stuff, and was also one behind like crafting the whole curriculum for this program. So a very great person to be here with us. Shai, thank you again for being for the 4th time with us. Now let's talk about voice.
Timon, thanks. So excited to be here with you, and appreciate both the opportunity to build this curriculum together with the team and to present here for the 4th time. So let's get started, shall we? And today we are at session 4, AI-powered audio from expressive speech to quality control. Quick word about myself. My name is Shai. I'm a startup evangelist at Google Cloud. You know me by now, but today I have a different photo because it is my birthday. So I'm very excited to be celebrating here with you. So a question that comes up is voice AI kind of a part of generative media? And the answer is it depends. Okay, it's yes and no at the same time. And I do want to dig in a bit there before we get into emotional text to speech. So, voice AI is, I believe, in 2025 and going into 2026, where chat was in 2022. So we are basically just right now getting into things that are usable, that you can actually build products with for your startups. And I really like this quote from Olivia Moore from a report by A16Z. And I love the first sentence. Voice is one of the most powerful unlocks for AI application companies. It is the most frequent and most information dense form of human communication, right? And just as an example, here we are communicating over voice. It is the medium. It is the most common way of communication that we know as humans. But really, for the first time, it has been made programmable due to AI. So what does it mean, programmable? Well, we can understand speech and we can generate speech, right? And we can even do it kind of in real time, as in the pace that we humans speak. So this is a very, very major trend, what's going on with voice AI. I want to show you a quick demo of how this can be used and is being used in the real world. So as an example here, I want to show you how we are doing car insurance renewal for my car in this case, where an AI agent calls me and says, "Hey, Shai, I see your car insurance is up for renewal. Maybe we can cut a deal. Give me your credit card, and we'll do it." So this is something that's traditionally done by human representatives, and I wanted to encapsulate that in an AI flow. So let's see that in action. And again, we are going to our beloved AI Studio, shortcut ai.dev, and it has a streaming option. Here I set a system prompt. So the system prompt, I am basically telling, "Hey, Eric, you're a slightly cheeky AI car insurance rep. This, you are calling this customer. This is the quote. This is the car," and so forth, right? So like giving the AI basic ground rules. So what is allowed to happen in this conversation, and doing function calling. So function calling are the bridges between traditional software and AI agents. That is in general, not just in voice, right? So in this specific case, this AI agent has two different functions. So one is getting a quote, so getting a price for the insurance. We don't want the AI to decide the price, right? There is a traditional system with databases and maybe a machine learning model behind the scenes, but it's still like a decisive system that decides what kind of price for what kind of car for what kind of customer history you'll get the insurance, right? And the second is processing of payment, right? So once you have credit card details and you want to actually get paid, AI does not do that, right? There are traditional systems that do that, payment gateways. So this is how you bridge the AI with your traditional software. So let's see a demo.
Hello.
Hi, Shai. It's Eric from Insure AI, calling about your car insurance renewal for your Skoda Superb. License plate.
Yeah, Eric, I got your emails.
Great.
A bit expensive.
Look, you've been with us for 10 years. You know it's the best deal. And I've even managed to secure a little something extra off for you. The renewal quote I have here for you, is 1,300 United States dollars. How does that sound?
Still too expensive.
Okay, Shai, let me see what I can do. I'll check if there are any additional discounts we can apply, given your loyalty. Okay, Shai, good news. I've managed to apply a loyalty discount. The new price is 1,235 United States dollars. That's the best I can do for you. How does that sound?
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Great. Let's get this sorted quickly. Can you please provide me with your credit card number, the expiration month and year?
4580-1111-2222-3972.
Thanks. And the expiration date?
I believe it's August 2028. No, 2029.
Thanks, Shai. August 2029. Let me just process that for you now. Perfect, Shai. Payment processed successfully. Your policy is renewed. You'll receive the updated policy document via email shortly. Thanks for your continued business.
All right, bye, man.
Thanks, Shai. Goodbye.
All right. So basically what you can see here is that the AI agent went through the specific flow, adhering to the system prompt, adhering to the guardrails that I had set. And the AI is able to kind of navigate the customer. And when the customer, in this case myself, is saying, hey, I want a discount, then the AI doesn't say, oh, okay, you got it for 1,200, right? It's actually going and invoking a function, get quote, and adding some context, and the system is saying, oh, that's great, but we're giving a 5% discount. Final price is 1,235, right? Take it or leave it. So this is how you bridge between the voice AI or any other AI agent and traditional software. Same goes for the credit card. And if you saw on the call, I tried to get the agent to be confused. So I said it's 2028, no, 2029, but it got it correctly, which is great. So that's voice AI at a general high level. Generative media is everything we've been discussing in the course so far. So we have VO3, we have Nano Banana, Imogen, Lyria, which creates music, and Gemini text-to-speech, which we saw a bit about, but we're really digging in deeper today. Okay, so if we kind of try and imagine this as a Venn diagram, then in Gen Media, we have all kinds of things that are not related to voice AI, such as Imogen, such as Nano Banana, such as VO3, which, although it has a voice component, is not really a part of voice AI. Okay, we have things that are voice AI, but not generative media. Okay, so this is something like the call you just saw with an AI agent having a phone conversation with a human. We put that under voice AI and not under generative media. Also, things like transcription and other AI capabilities may be considered in voice, but not in generative media. But what does belong to both of them? I would say for the most part, emotional text-to-speech. So when we are creating an offline, okay, so not a live conversation, but we're creating an offline asset of an audio track of some AI saying something, right? I would consider that both generative media and voice AI. Same goes for AI generated music. Same goes for AI generated sound effects. Okay, and sound effects, we'll have 11 labs next week showing how they do both emotional text-to-speech and sound effects and a bunch more. Today, we're really narrowing in on emotional text-to-speech. I just wanted to set the framework here so you know exactly where we are operating, right? So we know Gen Media, we know voice. A quick recap of what AI agents are. So AI agents, again, I showed in a previous session. Deep research is a great example of having a structured agentic flow that is able to scrape websites, do some research, and ultimately give you a report in a very specific format, right? So that is a general high-level AI agent structure. It may have a more flexible flow or a less flexible flow, but generally they all use certain tools and have a user-like guideline and sub-agents. Okay, again, looking at this from the curriculum standpoint, generative AI we covered in Q1, agentic AI we covered in Q2. I believe you've gotten links to recordings of those. Today in Q4, we are in generative media and combining agents with generative media. So you are here. We might do next year voice AI, and this is an open invitation to use both the feedback forms and you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn and say, hey, we would love to see the next startup school be all around voice AI and live phone conversations, right? Things that are not directly like generative media, and we'll make that happen. But do let us know what is interesting to you and where you're seeing the opportunities and things you want to know about. So that was a quick recap of agents, of generative media, and how voice plays into all of those. Now, again, when we want to combine them, so combine agents with generative media, I gave the example in a previous session of Notebook LM. In case you missed it, Notebook LM is a superb product that allows you to bring in all forms of content like YouTube videos, PDFs, websites, and so forth, and kind of shift them into different modalities. So one of the stronger features and its breakout feature really is the audio overview that allows you as a user to like set a high level of what you want, and it creates the report. How do they work? So again, we showed it in a previous session. I don't want to spend a lot of time that because we have a packed agenda for today, but in general, we showed how AI agents go and like create these generative media with the orchestration pipeline, right? So like connecting all the dots, in this case, having sub-agents that extract images or create the charts, having narration with expressive text-to-speech in like a different track altogether, and syncing all that with audio. So that is really amazing and really fun, where you all bring it in together into one coherent pipeline. Today, we are going to be seeing that in our different text-to-speech apps. So this is our app. And in order to really encompass that and show you how we work with that, I want to imagine a product. Okay, and this is an imaginary product. I called it Pineapple. And Pineapple is an app. It's a personal AI assistant that manages your calendar, your messages, and tasks to give you back your time using AI. Obviously, we can call it Pineapple AI. I want to say this is not a real app. It's not a real product by any means. Google is not working on something like this. This is like purely a figment of my imagination to go and get a point across, right? And even this lovely pineapple logo was generated with Imagen on AI Studio. So what does this pineapple product do? Well, this is me on a business trip not so long ago in Google Portugal, and I had a meeting lined up with Nelson, and what I imagine this product doing is tapping in again to my calendar, my DMs, my full context, and doing things, right, proactively. And let's see this in action for a second.
Hi, Shai. Nelson just wrote saying he might be a few minutes late since he is still in his meeting in Belay. Since your calendar is free, maybe you can instead meet him in Belay at Fábrica de Postes de Belay? You loved that place based on your Google Photos. I checked Google Maps, no traffic. Shall I order you an Uber?
Okay, so what did this Pineapple AI agent do? Again, it read my DMs, it read my calendar, and said that Nelson wrote saying he might be a few minutes late to our meeting. And it checked my calendar and said, hey, maybe we can change the location to where Nelson is located. And that way it's a win-win. It even checked Google Maps, no traffic, and ordered me an Uber, right? Or at least proposed ordering an Uber. So I say, awesome, right? Great catch. And you can see the quality of the text to speech here. It's emotional. And this makes a big difference. Like we discussed this with Notebook LM. If it just gave like very mundane reading out stuff, people wouldn't be interested. Your ability to bring in emotion, make it interesting, make it exciting for people, that is what really gets your message across, gets traction with customers. So I go, nice catch, sounds great. And let's see what the AI does.
Perfect. Uber's on its way, 3 minutes ETA. I also called Nelson to let him know. Enjoy the Postes de Belay. And don't forget to snap some photos.
Okay, so what happened here? Again, this AI agent does some amazing things, changes the location. That's easy with the calendar. Orders a ride, right? So this is actually a financial transaction that I am trusting the AI to do on my behalf, right? Because if it had ordered an Uber to a different location or somewhere very far where it costs a lot of money, that would be a problem. So I am entrusting the AI with actually making financial decisions on my behalf. And even calling Nelson, right? So we just saw before that AI today is able to actually maintain phone conversation. So it called Nelson to let him know about this change and confirm, right? And again, this lovely audio is created with Gemini text-to-speech. We are going to be learning a lot about that and how I love working with it and what makes it kind of tick, if you will. Okay, so we covered this part. I do want to mention again, generative media also highly effective for not just the product itself that you are building, but also for creating marketing content. So again, with this pineapple example, I wanted to hire a presenter, right? And basically did a casting call, with Nano Banana, and hired this woman, generated by Nano Banana. Great stuff all around. And part of the power of Nano Banana is, again, I'm able to transform her between the different situations. So surprised, laughing, smiling, angry, and so forth. I've showed you this app before that just helps me create batches of this at scale. Nano Banana also exceptional at creating like ad content. So in this case, like I tried to come up with like an app that solves your digital pain points, right? Ended up liking this before and after, but figured, I forgot the logo. So created another one with the logo, and that's really great. Again, all this is really simple, and I have showed you how to do this with Google AI Studio. So this is really just a very quick recap on this. But what I want to show you is that I'm able to actually create like a full ad, right? That you would see on YouTube or even on TV. Had Gemini come up with some kind of like a narrative, right? So like, the woman is very tired with all these notifications. then like she knows about the app, then the transformation, and it ends like very happy, right? So a very quick narrative that Gemini came up with. I used Google Flow specifically, but again, you can use any form of video content. I used frames to video, which we have showed about. I don't want to dig in too much over it. I did JSON prompts here just to create some clips, right? And what this goes to show you and is the quality of the voiceover. Okay, this is what we're going to be working on today. So I really want you to listen during seeing this ad and see the quality of the voiceover, because I think for the first time basically in history, we have come to a point where you get AI voiceovers that are so good, it's like having a professional voice actor do the work for you. So let's see that in action.
We've all been there, buried in notifications, losing track of the day. Imagine an AI that quietly handles the clutter for you. Pineapple organizes your calendar and tasks, giving you room to breathe. Ready for a calmer, more focused you? Find Pineapple on the App Store and Google Play.
Okay, so that was a really cool ad. And again, like audio can be generated in Google AI Studio. Quick shortcut, ai.dev, generate-speech, if you want to get to the exact place where you can generate this audio. And again, like you can see the kind of prompting we're using. So it's not very sophisticated, right? So like a confident narrator, pacing is deliberate, so forth. And for the actual text, like what we saw in the ad, right? So the constant notifications, the endless tasks, it's time for a change. Again, I like creating it in my own app, which is just a wrapper for the API. And I think that's part of the beauty where we are today. We can create exceptional products by wrapping the Google Cloud and Google Gemini APIs in fun and interesting ways. So in this case, you can see here, like sighs softly with empathy, picks up with gentle optimism, right? So like the transformations that the user is having throughout the conversation. So let's just see that real fast.
We've all been there, buried in notifications, losing track of the day. Imagine an AI that quietly handles the clutter for you. Pineapple organizes your calendar and tasks, giving you room to breathe. Ready for a calmer, more focused you? Find Pineapple on the App Store and Google Play.
Okay, that was great. So now we actually want to learn how to build these, how these actually work behind the scenes. So we are switching here to the local host of my app. Hope you can see it well here. I have all kinds of curated examples, but what I really want to dig into is this one, the Dinorama. Okay, so here you can see the script here, right? So that I wanted. So imagine we are creating a educational show for kids, right? And this is the script that Gemini came up with. So, hello explorers, welcome to Dinorama. Are you ready? I'm talking about the T-Rex, right? And we have something like a playful roar, right? This is really what sets emotional text-to-speech apart from just reading out content, right? Or you will see here, this dino was huge. So you will see how the AI emphasizes huge, okay? Or ate meat, you will see I put these small underscores. Listen to how it's being pronounced by the AI. We also have giggles here and laughs. So let's listen to that for just a second.
Hello, explorers, and welcome back to Dino-Rama. Are you ready to meet the king of the dinosaurs? I'm talking about the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Roar! That's a fancy name that means Tyrant Lizard King. This dino was huge, with a massive head and teeth as long as bananas. It was a carnivore, which means it ate meat. Yum yum. But here's the funny part. It had teeny, tiny little arms. Can you imagine? A giant, stompy dinosaur with silly little arms. What a magnificent creature.
Hello, explorer.
Okay, so it jumped to the next one. Sorry about that. But hopefully you kind of got the point here that
Hello, explorers.
we have this working, and what we'll also be digging into is how we are doing this AI validation, right? So in this case, the AI score was 10 out of 10. The AI delivered a flawless performance. Text was read exactly as scripted with no omissions, additions, or mispronunciations. All director's notes were followed. So director's notes are things like giggles or upbeat and excited. Tone, dance, sounds effect were performed naturally and were not read as text. This is a perfect adherence to the provided specification. So 10 out of 10. Fantastic. I do want to show you, I just before our session created several other variations of this, right? So, and this is something that we're able to do pretty easily. So here I created another variation, okay? Oh, sorry. This is not the one I was looking for. So I think, yeah, this is the one I was looking for.
Hello, explorers, and welcome.
Okay, so again, the exact same text, okay? And I did change here. So if you recall, the other one had a youthful, so like ages, I think around 20. Here we are asking for a bit of a more mature adult, but I kept the same voice configuration of this Lita character. So you can see we're getting like kind of even a different voice just by the fact that I am saying mature British accent, and the previous one had youthful British accent. So even changing these tiny words can have a difference.
Hello, explorers, and welcome back to Dino-Rama. Are you ready to meet the king of the dinosaurs?
All right, so this is an example. And again, the AI reviewed this, gave it a 9 out of 10. Okay, so it missed the giggles sound effect after yum yum. Let's see if that actually is the case here, right? So I'm literally like checking this with you. So ate meat, yum yum. Let's see if it, I think it's around here.
Was huge with a massive meat. Yum yum. But here's the fun.
So you see it said yum yum, but it did not pronounce the giggle, right? So it got a 9 out of 10. Now, if we were as humans trying to kind of go and identify this, we would literally have to listen to a minute of audio. Maybe, you know, if you're a very efficient human, you can do it at like 1.5x, maybe 2.0, but really dialing into all these different configurations and like, was giggles pronounced correctly? Was it really a British accent? was this emphasized, all these kinds of sub things do make a difference, right? So in this case, the AI is really good at kind of catching issues, right? And when we are working with emotional text-to-speech, I have to say this is not a definitive process. So you sometimes get issues with the quality, just like you get with images and just like you get with video. And part of the ways to deal with that are just using our senses as humans, right? So our eyes and ears and checking the content. But another approach, and one I feel is more powerful and scalable, is using these generative media agents that review the content before we do, right? So here I showed you how we got a 9 out of 10. I want to show you one that got a 1 out of 10, right? So this went terribly, terribly wrong. And let's listen to it.
A super enthusiastic and bubbly TV host.
So you can see here, because of part of the way this model is created, we're just telling it, here is the text to read, and here is the voice description, but it's all delivered as one huge text blob. So maybe 1 out of like 50 or 100 cases, it will actually consider the voice description as something it needs to read out. Okay, and this happened here. And that was a mistake on the text-to-speech model's behalf, right? So probably if I just go ahead and remix this and generate it again, right? So exact same configuration. You see I asked for a general American accent this time. I'll just go ahead and generate it. My assumption is that this generation will be better, okay? However, it is very powerful as a pattern that we are able to programmatically identify that this was not a good generation, right? So you see here, score 1 out of 10. The AI completely failed to follow the instructions. So instead of reading the provided text, it read the persona description and director's notes. The actual script was not read at all. I do think, by the way, it made the same mistake here. So this is interesting. Yep, again, the same one. So I don't know what exactly about this is making it so bad. Maybe if we just lowered the temperature here, and let's just try, let's try just with a lower temperature and see what happens here. Okay, so maybe the issue is that the temperature I'm using is way too high, but we will resolve that. Okay, and you see it's creating this lovely metadata like a photo, an image. And while it is loading, let's listen to this one.
Hello, explorers, and welcome back.
All right, so, and I just want to see here, let's remix it. So you see this one is with a temperature of 7 and a senior adult, general American accent. So this is, I think this is a much better generation here, which again, like I don't even have to listen to it, right? Because I already had the AI agent listen, and it gave it like a 9 out of 10. Here we even have like a 10 out of 10, right? So this is something I can confidently say is of good quality.
Hello, explorers, and welcome back to Dinorama. Are you ready to meet the king of the dinosaurs?
So you see, I actually like went from like a British accent, youthful presenter to a more mature general American accent with a few clicks of a buttons, right? And how much would it take me, just even forget cost for a second, just in terms of timing, how much would it cost me if I was, using a actual voice actors and had to source them and interview them. This gives me a really fun and effective way to try stuff out and do it fast. Okay, and again, if you are building this into pipelines or agentic products or anything like that, you need to have these checks and guardrails. Okay, fantastic. So now I will stop for a second sharing, and I will move to share the window so that you can see the developer tools. 1 second, if you will, and I will be right back with you. All right. Okay, great. So now you can also see the developer tooling here of this app, because I want to show you the details of how the app works, right? And when I go and generate an audio, again, I'll just generate this for the sake of it. So as we have seen in previous sessions, and I'll just upscale this a bit so it's easy for you to observe. Okay, as we have discussed, we generate the metadata. Here we're using a Gemini flashlight, right? It needs to be very fast. You can see it actually took, this is, I believe, slowness due to my computer or rate limiting, because it usually takes like 600 milliseconds. So the metadata is just like the name for this audio generation given the payload. And you can see here, let me just print it out maybe in the console so it's easier. New computer, you see, allow pasting. Okay, fantastic. So you can great. Okay, so our instructions are, and this is kind of a prompt format I came up with, right? So it may not even be the best one. So voice, a super enthusiastic TV host, age, senior. So you can see that what we actually have like from the UI is basically just getting translated into a text prompt, right? So in theory, you could have anything you want in these drop downs. You don't really, you can make up anything. That's part of the beauty here. Director's note, so parentheses, which are these. So here, produce sounds based on them. Examples: playful roar, giggles, laughs. Okay, so this we are adding programmatically to have the AI like hint what it should be doing. Okay. Square brackets, apply the instructions when reading the text, coming after them. I do, by the way, want to run an experiment later on of only using square brackets for both of the sounds that should be played and the delivery instructions, but hopefully we'll get to that at a later point. Okay. In general, this pattern works well, and as you can see is highly flexible. And I tell the AI, read this text exactly following the instructions, right? So and now here is exactly what we have here in the text read. So this is a 1-for-1, like and I'll show you the code that actually transforms all the configuration that we have here into this text prompt. Okay, but this was like step one of understanding what is going on, right? So we have sent this to the metadata agent to create like along with the voice params, right? That we used like a female, mid-pitch, mature. So this is basically the reason I'm adding like the voice params is just so we get more effective photographs, like images, right? So it needs the context of which voice we use to create this nice photo. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. Okay, so that was the metadata. And images we discussed, like we create the image based on what we got in the metadata. But now I really want to go over the generation itself. So you can see here, we're hitting the API generate audio endpoint. And this endpoint is using behind the scenes Gemini 2.5 Pro preview text-to-speech with, again, this exact prompt that I showed you before in the console, right? So with this thing. And after a while, we actually get it, right? So you can see here, it took 45 seconds to generate around 50 seconds of text, right? So this model is not fast, okay? The preview, the Pro TTS is not a fast model, okay? It's pretty much like a 1-for-1 in human speech latency, which is not considered fast. However, it is very good, like in terms of delivering that emotional experience, right? And if you think about it, if you hired a voice actor, they might take 5 takes and you would only use the best one and so forth. So here again, it's for these kinds of situations where you want the best quality possible. We also have a Flash model that is faster and cheaper and gets you almost the same results, but I do find 2.5 Pro to be just a bit better, and especially much better when you are using non-English languages, right? So I had on one of the previous sessions, someone asked about like Bulgarian or Hebrew or French. So for non-English languages, I highly suggest using 2.5 Pro. It is really good. Okay. So soon we'll see the code that makes this happen. But I just want to show you while we're here in the browser, after that generated, we initiated another request to verify the content. Okay. And in terms of verification, so we actually sent the raw audio, so 3.6 megabytes of audio, right? And with the prompt that was initially used, okay? And we asked Gemini 2.5 Pro to actually go ahead and evaluate what is going on there, right? And you can see here, accuracy 1 to 10 is 8. Let's see that in action, right? So you can see here for this last generation that we ran here, it gave us an 8 out of 10. Expected text. So here again, like it's the text that we're expecting. It's almost the same as what you have here. It just removes all these the delivery instructions, right? So it just says the actual text, text adherence. So this is the explanation that we are reading right here, right? And transcribe text. So sorry, yeah. So here you can see here, for example, we expected Dino-Rama and welcome back to Dino-Rama. I think that's completely fine. Like, it's not something in the dictionary, right? But you can see here, I'm talking about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Whereas here it had like the ellipsis. So this is something that, if we are producing a like, let's call it Hollywood movie, we would go and really check manually, right? But for something like we're doing now, we're relying on the AI to verify, and that's it. So this is just to show you a bit the structure of these APIs, the inputs and outputs. Let's see how that is done in action. Okay, and I will just very simply zoom in here so it's very clear and visible to you. Okay, so here you can see like, and as I mentioned, we have a bunch of controls here, right? So like accent, age, speed, style, emotion, tone, and these get translated into literally like extracted from the state in the form and get transformed into a one blob of text, right? So the Gemini TTS, both Pro and Flash, work by accepting a just a blob of text, right? So read this text exactly, following the instructions, right? You can see, by the way, accent injection just for specific when the user does specify accents here. So we have this here. If the user does specify one of the predefined accents, I also added like another injection of it. So you get like you get it twice, just because it improves the accuracy and the adherence. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And again, this is used by the audio generation service. You can see we allow the user to specify the model, but we also like basically have a fallback to a default, right? And I do urge you, in all your projects, you should be able to like maintain the list of models used in one coherent place. So in this case, you see I have 2.5 Pro, which is used for the verification. I have 2.5 Flash, which is a bit faster and cheaper, that is used for creating the suggestions, right? So when I the suggestions are like when I say something like let's refresh this. So if I go and say something like a joke about coding and AI. Okay, so this is done by the suggestions here, that when it's generating ideas. Okay, this is done by Gemini 2.5 Flash. You can see it is actually super fast. And Flash Lite, this is what generates the metadata. So like the end description that you see here, and like the prompts for the images, right? This is for LLM. You can see here also for TTS, like 2.5 Pro TTS and 2.5 Flash TTS. If there's ever another model, we can just add it here, change it here. It makes things really easier. You can see when I started this project, we only had Imagen 3. Now we also have Imagen 4, which is great, and like you're really able to play around with this and configure it to your liking from one central location. So again, I would highly suggest using these patterns of having constants with your AI models used. And here, very, very simple. Just as done inside AI Studio. This is something that you can. Oops, 1 second. Sorry. This is something that you can do. Okay. I do want to like kind of note, and here I'm bringing in AI Studio. This is my personal account, and there is a multi-speaker audio format that I did not incorporate here into this app. I did focus on single speaker, but you see you have here like reading hello, my name is Shai, and as always, I do urge you to use the get code, right? Get code, amazing way to actually go and see how how to construct these different prompts. So here you have the Python format for this. Again, I use TypeScript for this specific generation, and really, I just took this and put it inside my application, right? So whenever you're just not sure of how exactly to go and implement in your application, I do suggest step 1 is to use get code, and step 2 is to go to the API docs, okay? And the API docs here directly got me to the Gemini developer API. We do need here speech generation, okay? So this is maybe something to improve. So we would like to get directly, and this is here you get another generation, right, with the exact format of this API. Here is how you do multi-speaker, right? So you have a bunch of capabilities here. Obviously, what you can do is view as markdown, and that is an extremely powerful pattern if you're using any form of agentic coder, because you can actually just give it this context, right? Be it like Gemini CLI, Gemini Code Assist, Claude Code, and Cursor, and all these other agentic AI coders. You can just give them this documentation as markdown, okay? And that way they can implement the features for you correctly, or validate your implementation, make sure that you're specifying everything that is mandatory, and maybe the optional stuff. So this is a great pattern to go about working with this kind of technology. So that is great. We covered AI generation. Again, I can't stress this enough. It's just basically a huge blob of text that we are sending to the AI, okay? And like telling it, go and create this. So you can see there's actually no even like language identifier. So it basically understands, like, even if I don't specify the language, if I typed something in French, it would actually say it in French. We could even run a very quick experiment right now. So let's just, I'll just write something like, let's do this, right? Hello, good morning, but fully in French, no English words. Also in voice description. Okay, so let's see if how that works out. So bonjour, bon matin. It actually gave me the voice persona in English, right? So I'm not sure how it will work, but let's give it a try. And so I'm just in the, while it's generating. Okay, I also want to like okay, so I'm not a French speaker, so I cannot say if this was done correctly or not. But I will just generate another one where also the voice description is in French, right? So I just, yeah. So again, I'm not a French speaker, but the second one sounded much better to me. So when you are doing a separate language, I would suggest actually having the voice description also in that language. But who knows? Like 4 out of 10. By the way, if you're doing like 2 seconds of audio, sometimes it has all kinds of hiccups. Just something I found out with this model, like it tends to really work well when you have at least like a sentence, right? So not just one word or 2 words. That's just a tip here. But yeah, anyway, this is like something I wanted to cover. So there is no definition of like the language here. So even if I just select the language here and set it to French, and you can see here like there are I guess multiple versions of French. Okay, so even when I go ahead and do this, I think that sounded good. So even when I go and do this, basically it just, changes, adds like here French as one of these items, right? In the, so you see like language, French, France. Okay, so it doesn't really, it's not a formal part of the API. You just prompt it and Gemini TTS understands based on the context. So that is good and also challenging at the same time. Okay, so I do want to just breeze through the verification process. So again, we mentioned that for verification, whenever we have a verification request, right, we're sending it the actual audio and the prompt that we used and getting a result. So I want you to see how that is wired behind the scenes. So you can see here, I'm getting the audio. So adding the audio as a prompt to Gemini 2.5 Pro, right? So this is an LLM, like a multi-modal LLM. It's not the TTS version because we are using TTS to generate the audio, but we are using 2.5 Pro, like the LLM, the multimodal LLM, to actually inspect it, right? So we are adding, this is the audio, this is the prompt that was generated, right? This is the response schema and the system prompt, which we'll take a look at just now. Okay, and we get our results, right? So let's see the system instruction for verification. So I think I have word wrap here. Do they have it? Yes. Okay, good. So you see your role is a TTS verification engine. You will analyze the adherence to the specs and rate it, right? So this is the, and here I gave it an example, right? Note the structure. So given this example, right, and this persona, yeah, I do want it to I do want it like the AI is not expected to read out the square brackets. There are instructions. AI is expected to produce sounds based on what is in parentheses, right? So like laugh and excels. This is the output structure. So I like, when I am doing this kind of stuff, to both explain here for each part of the content, how to rate it. So for example, accuracy 1 to 10, if I didn't really explain it, then the AI could do something, but it's not exactly what I want, right? So here I explicitly said like perfect, it is 10, completely unrelated is 1, similar with artifacts is 6, a classification with artifacts gets 6 or below, right? Because I had to add this because sometimes it would say, yes, it has artifacts, but the score is 8, right? So I needed to set it manually. If you say the parentheses instead of making a sound, then it's even lower, right? Extra text gets 7 or below, missing text gets 7 or below, and so forth, right? So this is something that in general, like I kind of got to after seeing where the AI makes mistakes and how to fix them, right? And like, or at least how to identify them. And you need to think about that for your generative media agent, be it if it's on images or on audio as you have here, or on video, which is actually, video would be the hardest part, because video is images that are moving, so they need to make sense in like a coherent timeline, and with audio, right? So video is much more complex than what we are doing here. But this is part of the challenge, and you are at the frontier here if you are working on this kind of stuff. So you can see here, I added really a bunch of different like explanation, and even like rigorous like thought process example to, and this is what we call a few shot. So I literally gave it like a one fake rating, one fake verification, so that it's able to clearly and coherently make these verifications happen in an effective way, right? So and this, again, this is the format used in AI's Studio or like in the Gemini API. The properties: expected text, transcribed text, string, artifacts is an array of strings, accuracy is 1 to 10, type integer. I actually just saw a post by Logan Kilpatrick that we are also adding more verification here. Let's see if I can pull it up real fast, and I will show you. Yes. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so you can see here min max for numerical constraints, right? So this is actually something just earlier, like from last night. And here what I would like to do is, instead of just telling it, accuracy 1 to 10, type is integer, but theoretically it could come up with 100, I want to have a stronger constraint here. So like, say it's explicitly a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 10, right? So this is something that is a very effective way of adding checks and balances to what's going on with your AI. And it's exceptionally important when you are working with emotional text-to-speech. Okay. 1 second. I have a lot of open tabs here, so I do want to show you. Right, and we only have a few more minutes here, so I will just show you my my favorite generations that I created using this technology, right? And we have all kinds of things here. So this is like Santa.
Shy, my boy! It's Santa. I was just looking over the list, checking it twice, you know how it is, and I saw your name.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. Like, I can have Santa read out something for my kids. This is like, I imagined a chess game, like a chess kind of Hollywood movie where the chess pieces come to life, and the queen has a Boston accent. So this is how it goes.
You dare challenge the queen? You will pay for this with your life.
Okay, so you can see this is like voice actor studio quality. This is another one I like, Journal on Mars.
Day 347. Another Martian sunrise. It's something else, isn't it? Not like home. Not like Earth's soft blue dawns. Here, it's all reds and oranges, stark against the black. Beautiful, yes, but a little too quiet.
Yeah. So you can see here like a young female scientist isolated on Mars, recording a message for her family, right? So that's the note. By the way, I now realize that it did not actually do this small sad chuckle, right? So let's run the verification flow again. See, maybe it catches it this time because it's kind of it should have caught it, right? That she did not express the small sad chuckle, and that is why I also want to check it if it works better with the square brackets than it does with the parentheses as we have it now. No, still a 10 out of 10. Okay, so as you can see, still our natural intelligence exceeds AI for this kind of thing. Let's see another cool one. Yeah, I like this one, like in kind of the sports movies.
Listen up, guys, listen up. We're down by 12, yeah, I know. But you know what else I know? We ain't finished, not by a long shot. We looking like a bunch of turtles out there, and I ain't playing with turtles. We had a Serengeti strikers, baby. We got the reach, we got the speed, and we got the heart. Now let's get out there and show them how a real...
Okay, so yeah, anyway, this is I just want to show you the emotional range here, right? So this is like a conspiracy theorist from a kid's movie. So check this out, like talking about woodchucks.
It's not just how much wood could a woodchuck chuck, it's a conspiracy. I've assessed the situation. These aren't simple creatures, they're assets. Their systematic stockpiling of spruce, the sheer speed, it's suspicious, sinister even.
So this is actually an interesting case because I told it like to speak very fast and do what they call tongue twisters, right? So like how much wood could a woodchuck do? You see, even I can't do it. So how much wood could a woodchuck chuck, right? So so the AI is actually incredibly good at doing tongue twisters, much better than we humans. So yeah, there's a bunch of them. I also like this English teacher. I think I showed it to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Funny English. I'm your teacher, Leah.
Yeah, so I actually created for my kid an English lesson that she really loves. Anyway, I think that's all we have time for today. Hopefully, this did give you a bit of a taste of what's. 1 second. Hopefully, this did give you a taste of what's available with with the emotional text-to-speech. And next week we have other speakers. So I will only be delivering the last session. You will have other amazing speakers for the 2 other sessions. So I do want to, just have you going with a few thoughts into the weekend and like what's the actual opportunity with creating these AI native flows and workflows and products and media. A whole new breed of software is made possible, right? So it's not just software that you click a bunch of buttons and something updates in a database and some file gets put in a bucket, but it's actually software that does things. It can talk to us. It can generate media. It's interesting. And this has so many different unlocks for the future. And it's a massive opportunity for you as a startups. And funnily enough, it's also now much easier to actually build and distribute this software, right? So build it because you have things like agentic coders, and distribution is, again, like for distribution, you need a lot of media, and suddenly you're able to deliver it. Like think even, let's say for your startups, you need to create content in different languages, like marketing content. This is something that used to be very hard to do, but today you can do it very easily with the tools that we are showing. So for example, if you have an ad, just do it like an audio ad, just do it in 30 languages, right? Very easy. So this is your opportunity of a lifetime to build something unique and powerful. With that, thank you so much. I got hundreds of messages on LinkedIn after the previous sessions. Really appreciated that. So this is an open invitation to connect with me, to write to me, let me know if this is helpful, what you would like to see in future editions, and really pretty much everything. Let me know what you're working on. Take care, and thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Shai. Take a quick break, and we will get back to Q&A just in a second. I just wanted to comment that exactly along the lines what Shai just said. I think that, I've been working with startups for several years. I've been working in a startup, and I created a startup. And like one thing I know is that you are always have a tool for that. You have an app for that. You have a SaaS for that. So like you will have to focus on your core product while there are tools, software that is available to make your life easier as a founder. And I feel like with the video generation, image generation, and also voice generation, if this is something that could help you, you right now are fully equipped. You don't need to think of hiring, voice actors or agencies to do this for you. For those small first iterations, for your testing, for testing hypothesis, you can really harness the power of voice AI and do it, which is awesome thing, and the fantastic times we live in. For example, we all know big YouTubers like Mr. Beast that just tapped into the potential of an absolutely new audience by auto-translating and dubbing his clips on YouTube to Spanish to attract the audience from Latin America. And like it's one of the biggest channels, him speaking Spanish using AI. And anyway, with that, Shai is right now preparing for the Q&A, and this is my moment, and I'm gonna tell it again about startup program. At Google Cloud, we have this startup program with credits. You should all know that there is a free trial with $300 when you set up your first Google Cloud Platform account. But if you are a startup, there is a special offer for you. If you are just starting and you're bootstrapped, it's $2,000. And if you are a funded startup, it's around $100,000 or even $250,000 to spend on various Google Cloud services like compute, storage, databases, but also our generative AI solutions. So if you're using our models, these credits can be also used for that. Scan the QR code, go to this link, and you should be able to apply right away. And apart from that, we have those perks. You all know that because you are already with me, so you should be able to name a few of those partners, but there are perks also along our program. So our partners and friends offer more for startups so that you can be fully stacked and able to build. Gemini Kit, again, one-stop shop for you to find out more about these APIs. Gemini, of course, is our overarching model, but it's also a name for this app that you are using to chat, but also an API. So to distinguish what to use where, how to access all the documentation, this is your place to go. startup.google.com/Gemini. Agent handbook. I've seen already on the chat today a couple of questions about agents. That's just practical hacks. But this one is even better when you're building the full agent, and this agent can also use voice. If you are willing to learn more, download this startup technical guide about AI agents, share it with your CTOs or your developers in your company. This is a really good starting point, how to build the agents and AI agents on Google Cloud. So Google/agent guide, the capital letters matter in short links. Okay, with that, developer community Discord, once again, I'm there, and it's been quite quiet this week, so please jump in. There is also a Gemini Discord community that I've shared on this one, so make sure you visit both. I love the vibe that is happening there in general. And so that we have more time for questions, my last request for you, please take your phone right now. I have a fantastic Pixel phone. Scan the QR code, leave us the feedback. If you have left us the feedback on Tuesday, probably you can edit your responses and just change those ratings for today's sessions, for Thursday's sessions, so that we can know how we did. Leave us a comment, a feedback. There is still a little bit that we can implement over there. We're trying to do more demos, more practical use cases as today, because this is something that you have been requesting from us. And believe me, both Shai and all our instructors from other classes are reading very carefully through the feedback. So the feedback is a gift, as they say. So now it's a time, and before we jump into Q&As, please type this in your browser or in your phone, or scan the QR code so that I can take a look at your feedback just directly after this session. Okay. Let's go to questions. A very simple one. Shai, you're there? Yes. A very simple one. Last session, you were showing us this generative AI media creative studio, but right now you show us Magic Audio Lab. I think it's something that you have created yourself. Tell us, is this available? Can people play with your voices and your characters? Is it open source? People can recreate, remix? Like, what's the Magic Audio Lab situation? Is it available?
So that is a great question. I am working on getting it security reviewed and open source. So everything that we open source from Google needs to go through a security review. And we will open source it either as the Next.js app or as an AI Studio app, or both. So, do follow me on LinkedIn. I promise once I'm able to actually open source the code for this, I will. I will mention, though, that, I just, was able to recreate the major portions of it basically in like half an hour of work on AI Studio, just prompting it to create something, right? So it is something that you can actually go and, just go into the build tab in AI Studio and tell it like, build me a text-to-speech app, and it does a good job at it. So
or even take a screenshot of this session and show like, and I would love this user interface, right?
Yeah. I do feel like, it's for this app, at least like half of the time was spent like aligning all the divs, and because I wanted it to look like YouTube Music. So and I didn't find that agentic coders were very good at it, so I had to brush up on my CSS skills and do some of it myself. So
Tailwind CSS. I like it. And remember, people, Shai is a LinkedIn guy. He is not a typical developer that posts every time on Twitter, now known as X. This is a LinkedIn guy. So like, if you want to follow and if you want to see the newest from Shai, definitely follow him on LinkedIn. That's for sure. Cool. Let's talk about various languages. I am from Poland. I speak Polish, one of the hardest languages, but we have also a user that is asking about Lithuanian. And, like so many languages with so many grammatically correctness of those languages, some are very hard to pronounce, some are very specific. So how can we make and use TTS from Google to speak specific languages? Where are the limitations? What's the roadmap over here? Lithuanian was called out, but let's ask about various languages.
Yeah, so I think it's a great question, and voice AI has come a very long way in terms of English. It is still not quite there in terms of many other languages, right? So just as an example, I had I was working with a friend who wrote a children's book, and trying to have it in that native language of German, which it was like almost perfect, but hey, there are a few tweaks and stuff like that. Also, this happened to me when I was in Prague recently doing a demo, and it was in a magnificent place called Gabriele Lozzi, and Lozzi is spelled Loci. Okay, and the AI read Loci or something like that, right? And one of the native speakers told me, no, it should say Lotzi. So I literally changed it to TZI, right? Although it's like a misspelling, just to have the AI pronounce it correctly. So you can do these kinds of hacks. Or for example, if we write VO3, then it says VEO sometimes. So I write the letter V dash the letter O, which makes it pronounce it correctly. So sometimes, even in English, you have to make these adjustments, especially if it's things that are not in the dictionary, things like VO, right, or like Lotzi, which is just there's a way to pronounce it. So we are improving. I am glad to say that we humans are still better at this task, especially as native speakers in the languages that we all speak from our homes. It's something that we still do better than any AI, for now at least. And it's you need to add verification, you need to manually fix it, and do all kinds of things like that.
Yes, and this is exactly the point I wanted to make. Like Aneta here on the chat wrote that sometimes mispronounces acronyms or short forms made up of the capital letters. This is exactly as it goes with text generation. You cannot, I would say, fully trust AI. You always have to verify, right? We are in this fantastic revolution of AI, but if you create something, always verify the results that your AI is giving you. There must be a human in the loop. So you have to listen to it, approve it, maybe make some corrections. Do not assume that everything will be crystal clear and absolutely perfect from day one. We are in a very interesting times, but times that need verification. Okay, I think we have the time for one more. Yes, this is a classic one about the consistency. We had the consistency question back then for images and videos and faces, but right now the consistent voice intonation across different recordings, since the same voice generates slightly differently each time, how to make it possible to merge everything smoothly. What are your tips?
Okay, so that is a great question, and I'm glad that we're not just putting the easy questions up, right? Like everything is wonderful, because this is a challenging issue, right? And across not just Google's products, but other products as well, you get slight variations between the different voices. Something that I have found to be useful is adding a voice description that also encapsulates the voice, right? So don't just say, don't just rely on the default voice, but it says the speaker has a high-pitched California Valley accent. So really specify the voice, and you can have Gemini generate a very sophisticated explanation of what the voice is. And this generally tends to contract a bit the variance between the different voices that you get. So that is one. Okay. Option one. Option two And this is, again, something I've seen people do, is just, generate in one big go. So, for example, I've seen someone generate like a 15-minute segment in just one go, right? And then break it up into the different parts. So within one generation, you generally get the exact same voice. Another avenue, and again, this will be covered by 11 labs, is they actually are able to train on a specific voice, right? So they train their model, a dedicated, like they know their architecture, but basically they train their models to provide an exact specific voice, even your own voice, if you're interested in that. And they have a very sophisticated voice changer technology, right? So like kind of able to transform between voices. So I think with these, you're able to basically get full coverage between the three of these techniques to get voice consistency.
Okay, thank you, Shai. I'm looking at my watch, and it's past the bedtime for us already. Yeah. It's 90 minutes past, and we try to keep it consistent also for you, all those who are watching us, like 90 minutes of your time. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you, Shai, for this one. You will be around, I know, for the next week as well. But with that, thank you for showing the magic on Magic Audio Lab. I saw it before we started Startup School, and I was very excited to see all of those avatars speaking. Thank you very much for your session.
Thank you so much, Timon. It's been amazing. Everyone, I'll see you for the last session, but hope you had a good time. I certainly did, and thank you so much.
Thank you. That's true. This was next one up is not with Shai. Like wowzy. We are going to have Oisin and Jean-Baptiste Leroy, customer engineers and startup architects from Google Cloud, to actually move your prototypes that you're building in AI Studio to production. Like how I take it to the next level. I built something, it's working for me, but how can I be sure that this is available and accessible to the users from outside the world? So we're going to show you a lot of tips and tricks how to deploy your app on Google Cloud using Cloud Run and other methods. So the next session is on Tuesday. This is Cloud Run, this is Next.js apps, and everything from within the AI Studio. Same time, November 11th. For some markets, this is a day off, a holiday, but I hope you can make it. And just on the next day, on Wednesday, a special additional session with 11 Labs, where we're going to get back to the voice AI, and we're going to talk a lot about voice cloning. If you want your own voice or a very specific voice, this is the one that you couldn't miss. Alrighty, this is all. Leave the feedback and see you on Tuesday.